Well, hello everybody. Just figured I'd do a video today out here in the cold weather with it snowing. Give you a view of the homestead as we're trying to get some things done here. You gotta feed critters when you got them, even in the wintertime. Now we've been out of power for the last, we had 2 days, came back on yesterday. We've been out of power for a couple of days. Now we had a wood stove and propane. And so we didn't, as far as heat goes, nothing changed. But as far as dealing with stuff, things did change. There's my gate to the goat field. As you can see, there's my goat building. And there's Abel, guardian dog. But anyway, I've had some thoughts today. Abel, what are you doing here? You gonna lick us up here? You gonna lick us up? Don't lick me in the face now. You're all right. You're all right. Okay, boy. Anyway, once we stop getting bothered here, go on now. Go on. Anyway, the problem I have, well, actually, there's twofold. There's an issue. One, I've got to place a barn. But we have situations like this. And the situation is, we don't have power. Now, we do have power back, and we're good. But as you can tell, that pole right there, that power pole, I just had put in probably a year and a couple months ago, last winter. And it works good because it has an outlet, and I can de-thaw water with it. I can thaw water with it. Sorry, defrost or thaw water with it. Can't even speak today. And I can keep my water unfrozen. I've got a little light on the pole I've put there, dusted on light. And if I need to, I can put a heater in the building there, power it off of electricity. I don't typically do that. Goats don't need that much. Nice bed of hay does good for them. I've got them in the building right now because they tend to give birth out here in the field. So I've been feeding them some grain and hay mixed. And they'll give birth out here, and then we'll lose some of them. But I've got them out here right now. But anyway, do I put my barn down here, or do I put it up there on the hill? And as you can tell, there's a gate right up there on that top of that hill. You can see a red gate. And there's a flat spot up there. Big old flat spot, and we use it as a trail to get to the top of the mountain. And I park some things up there, and it's big enough for a small barn. But down here, as you can tell in this bottom, it's not very big. Now, you really can't tell that. That's a hill, and it's really steep. So where that building is, you see back there, where the current goat shed is, with the water catchment system, that's only I want to say that building is a 9 by 12. Okay, and I drug it over here. My great-grandfather built that building. It was on where my house is, and used it as a chicken coop. But it's still in good shape, so I put a new floor in it and use it. But anyway, it doesn't have enough space for a big herd, and it doesn't, I need hay storage. But right here, where I'm standing, there's only maybe 40 feet, maybe, between me and that building. And the width of this little bottom here is only maybe 30 feet at its widest, and it kind of goes down to a point at the other side of that building where there's a triangle, so it's triangle shaped. Well, my neighbor built up his side, and they built that house right where a creek flows. And so that creek now comes down on my side sometimes, and it's a big marshland from time to time. So I don't necessarily want to build a barn here. But if I'm walking from my house, as we just did together, this is the closest place, the easiest place. Otherwise, I have to walk all the way down the road that way, continuing, up the next driveway, around behind the house, and then up there to that flat spot. And you can drive it. Now, if it's weather like this and the hill's not cleared off, it's a real steep part to get up. It's going to be real hard to get up. So I anticipate that I'd only have to climb that hill a few times a winter. And of course, we have use of an ATV, but that would mean building ATV storage near my house to get over there. So, do I build my barn up at the top and then I can build a goat pasture above it in the woods where they can have some more forage? Or do I build it down here where it's easier to get to and my electric is already here and have it down here? Now, that said, the only water I have is rain catchment, which is great if I can rain catch water up on that hill, pipe it down here in the same trench that I would put my wiring up to that building. So I could theoretically dig a trench up there about 220 feet. I can put an in-ground water catchment cistern up there, and I could get water down here off the roof of the building that I built up there and have gravity feed water. And I could trench my electric in the same trench going up there to the hill just off of this pole I got. So anyway, what do? Right? Do I put my barn down here where it would be convenient, but it would be in a valley? Or do I put it up there on the top where it's less convenient, but I'll have more amenities? If I want to have 2 fields, I can build it as big as I want. I don't have to tear up my pasture down here. It would be more centrally located on the property. There's a lot of pros to putting it up there. The only con I can think of is access. And now I have access, vehicular access, but during times like this, you ain't getting a vehicle up there. Now I could get within 100 foot of it with a vehicle and then walk the rest of the way. Maybe a 4-wheeler would make it, maybe not. But if it does, then I'm going to have to find a place to park my vehicle, my ATV at my house and build a little shed there. Any advice is appreciated. Any advice is appreciated on my situation. Similarly, and then this is a summertime problem I have. Maybe I'm just a neat freak. You see this fence line. That is a steep bank. A very steep bank and a long bank. Probably 330 feet. Maybe more. That bank is long. I've been weed eating it. I've been having my little stepson weed eat it, and I don't like that too much. I mean, it's kind of dangerous. It's right next to a road. Now he needs to learn, and he's doing good with, if cars come, whatever, he knows to be out of the way. But I still don't, I don't feel comfortable with it, and I'm out here sometimes and weed eating it, and it takes 4 hours. I could buy a mower, a flail mower with a boom arm that'll mow it. I can let it grow up. But I cleaned it up myself. And I just don't like the idea of my property looking like crap on the front. I don't want it to look like crap. But I also don't want to spend 4 hours every couple of months. Really, in the summer, it should be every month, mowing that. And I don't want to put Xavier mowing it. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with that. One of those mowers is about $5,000. Letting it grow up is free. Weed eating it is time consuming. Any advice on that is appreciated so I can get ready for the summer on that. So I'm just seeking advice from my fellow viewers here and trying to figure out what I can do on some of these conundrums I have. I have a real steep farm here, little homestead, and those are my issues. Now over at the other property, my issues are different, but each property is unique. And so hopefully somebody can learn from seeing some of these problems that I have. And the biggest thing on this property is I don't have access to the creek, and I don't have a well. So water is a big deal. Electricity was a big deal. I did get electric, but it's down here at the bottom. So, you know, it's hillside land, it's mountain land, and I've decided to forge a little homestead out of the mountain. And these are the problems you have when you forge a homestead out of the mountain. But anyway, something I thought you might find interesting as well. I picked this up today at New Graham Knives, and I am by no means sponsored by anybody, but this is awesome. It's a Buck 110. That's what it's called. Buck Knives 110. Wonderful knife. I mean, it has no play in the knife at all. Nothing at all. It does excellent. Snaps right in there. Old school type of knife. Made in the USA. Very, very nice knife. About the right size to do anything with. Comes with a little canvas holster. I forget what they call that, a sheath, I guess, that you can put it on your side. And it's just excellent. I picked it up for $50 at New Graham Knives, but the Buck 110 is a classic. And I had a replica of it, Chinese model, but that blade would just shake even when it was popped open, and it wasn't, you know, smooth operating as a knife. So I went ahead and forked out the $50. I got a nice, real nice knife out of it. But have yourself a good knife. Another everyday carry thing I suggest: nice little flashlight. If at any time you got a knife and a little flashlight on you, that's about all you really need. You know, carry that with your keys, your wallet, and your phone, and you're doing pretty good. Anything I need to do out here. Let me show you what saved us the last couple of days. During Helene, we had a real issue with the generator and having cords in here and not maintaining our generator and so forth. And so these water barrels is what helped us out. Well, now, because we couldn't operate our well pump, put that little gray box in there. Well, let's see if I can find it. Doop, right there. That's a generator inlet. Bought it on a Black Friday sale, $89. The wire to put it in, a 10-3, and the box is right there. 25 foot of 10-3 was $100 and some with taxes, with a breaker. So you buy a little bit of the wire, you have the breaker, you buy that kit, and then you buy an interlock kit, which I bought on Amazon for $5 on a Black Friday sale, or Cyber Monday, I think. By putting that in, I was able to plug in my generator during this outage, and I could operate my lights, my well pump, no issues. Requires a 30 amp breaker. You could go up and do a 50 amp inlet if you want, but with any generators that are smaller in size, generally less than 7,000 watts, 30 amps all you need is what I've been told. I'm not an electrician. Let's just be clear about that. Now I can wire up some stuff on my own place, and I'm perfectly fine wiring stuff, but don't take my advice. Look it up. Anyway, put that in myself. Took a couple hours. One of the best things I've ever done, aside from putting in a wood stove as far as preparedness goes, putting in that, a wood stove, and a propane heater, those three things really did help out tremendously during a power outage. Actually, it would have been just as good if I would have had a slightly larger generator that would operate the water heater at the same time as the well pump. This way you can, you can turn off your water heater, turn on your well pump, or turn on your hot water heater, turn off your well pump, and then you can take showers that way. If I had a larger generator, and if I had a stove, because you can't use your stove, if I had a larger, or I had a stove that operated on propane. Those two things would make me not miss power at all, not one bit. So I should have put in a propane stove in this house, but I went in with an electric, because that's what you do around here. Most people around here have an electric stove, not a gas stove. But I really should have went with the propane. And had I done that, I don't believe I would have missed power on the grid at all. So, anyway, something to consider whenever you're building your little homestead to prepare yourself. Keep yourself a nice wood stove with a stockpile of wood, stockpile of propane with another source, and keep yourself some gas stockpile. Just do it. It's the best thing you'll do. So anyway, I'm going to be out. Consider answering my question about the barn placement and my mowing of my bank issue. I would greatly appreciate any advice you all have. Thanks.